r/askreddit. What celebrity did bad things but everyone forgot what they did because they're famous?
Steven Tyler became the guardian for a 16-year-old he was dating when he was 25, so he could bring her on tour. Knocked her up, too.
Elvis Presley and Priscilla, age 14. Right out in the public, no one batted an eye. Her parents allowed her to go on a trip under the condition that Elvis pay for a first-class round trip and arrange for her to be chaperoned at all times, and that she write home every day. Elvis agreed to all these demands, and Priscilla flew to Los Angeles. Elvis told her they were going to Las Vegas and to throw her parents off the scent. He had Priscilla Pre write a postcard for every day they'd be away to be mailed from Los Angeles by a member of his staff.
Priscilla was 17 in that trip, 14 when they met while he served in Germany.
Rick James Kidd enapped 2 women with his wife while on separate crack binges.
And he fucked up Charlie Murphy's couch.
Darkness.
In my country, there is a TV host that killed several people in a car accident. Twice. It was his fault, both times. You can still see him on TV.
Can you please give source?
Tom Cruise is the celebrity face for a massive cult that kid apes, rapes, and is likely involved in human trafficking and child marriages. The cult that out-lawyered the effing R's. But yeah, Mission Impossible was cool, I guess.
The more I hear in that cult for rich people, the more it concerns me.
Jared Leto's been accused of rape by half a dozen 13 to 15 years old girls.
Charlie Sheen once had unprotected sex with his girlfriends, plural, when he was high.
One of his goddesses did an interview where she said association with him nearly ruined her life.
Mark Wahlberg beat and blinded a Vietnamese guy just because he was Vietnamese.
I can't believe it took me this long scrolling to find this. He's making millions off the Transformers films, and everyone conveniently has forgotten that he committed a hate crime.
Emma Roberts beat the crap out of her, then boyfriend Evan Peters, then continued to co-star in the same show as him.
I was looking for this. She left Evan Peters with a bloodied nose and bite marks after some people called the cops on them when they had a fight in their hotel room in Canada. I'm saying this as a woman. It says a lot about how obvious the abuse is that when the cops turn up to a domestic violence case and arrest the woman instead of the man. They continued to date until early this year. Maybe she changed, but if I'm completely honest, I just feel relieved on Evan Peters' behalf.
It must have been really bad for them to arrest her and not him. My brother-in-law got the crap beat out of him by his wife and he called the cops and they showed up and arrested him, even though he had a broken nose and she didn't have a mark on her. I'm also a woman, and that crap makes my blood boil.
I guess Noon's really forgotten, but Roman Polanski's still getting awards and standing ovations for his films.
Hollywood loves pedophiles.
Ryan Reynolds did Green Lantern.
I can't help but feel Deadpool was an incredibly cathartic role for him.
Andy D has sexually assaulted people an absurd amount of times and also got Phil Hartman's wife back into drugs, which led to her murdering Hartman in an intoxicated state. You would think he would have been ruined in the hashtag MeToo movement, but apparently we pass it off like, ha, that's classic Andy Dick.
I feel like everyone hates Andy Dick. Like, is there anyone that actually does give Andy D the pass?
I bet even Andy D hates Andy Dick.
Natalie Wood was probably murdered by Robert Wagner and witnessed by Christopher Walken.
Walken was on the boat, but I don't think he actually saw it happen as he went to bed before everyone else did.
Yeah, the situation is sketchy as F, but to say Walken witnessed it is stretching it too far. He was there and at best heard her yelling for help, but I can't find anything that says he was one of the 2 witnesses to claim that.
Tim Allen got caught in an airport with 1.5 pounds of cocaine and gave up his connections, so he only did 3 years instead of life.
Didn't he really get famous after he served his time?
Yay, he wasn't famous then, so no celebrity power or money.
Jerry Seinfeld dated a 17-year-old girl in high school when he was 39 years old.
Same as Paul Walker dating a 16-year-old when he was 33.
Steven Tyler was a serial rapist in the 70s and 80s. Now he's an old woman.
He also became the legal guardian of a 14-year-old groupie, so he could take her on tour and F her. Not sure what her parents were thinking.
T. Creed Bratton has been a leader and a follower of numerous cults.
Creed Bratton has never declared bankruptcy. When Creed Bratton gets in trouble, he transfers his debts to William Charles Schneider.
If I can't scuba, then what's this all been about? What have I been working toward?
Karl Malone got a 13-year-old pregnant and refused to take care of that child.
I think you'll know the song Despacito, who is performed by Luis Fonsi. Well, this little piece of crap was married to a beautiful woman who had breast cancer. During her entire process of chemo, he wasn't there, and he even told her, when she had a breast removed, that he didn't want her as a woman. This ended up in a divorce.
From what I've heard, that's sadly common. Many breast cancer survivors with mastectomies have been left by husbands who thought them less of a woman, sans one or both breasts.
Brick killed a guy with a trident?
There was that time James Franco tried to F a teenager. After she posted the exchange on social media of her telling him how old she was and him not caring and still wanting to see her, all he had to do was go on a few morning talk shows a couple days later and say, "You don't always know who you're talking to online," and everyone instantly forgot about it. He framed it like he was the one who was deceived, and people just let it slide even though that clearly wasn't the case.
Coco Chanel was a Nazi. Tila Tequila is a Nazi.
I haven't heard the name Tila Tequila in almost a decade.
And nobody liked her 10 years ago either. She was a semi-popular adult model when she was Tila Nanyan almost 20 years ago, but that's it.
Can we have a reverse thread? Which celebrity has a clean background?
I'd hope Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, my heroes.